Welcome to another Mindset Monday, and I'm blessed to be able to have the conversation with you guys today, centering around the holiday season. And over the last 2 weeks, we've talked a lot about how we can maintain and make sure that we, of course, we might be quiet in our approach, but we're preparing to, of course, be loud inside of January. And one of the things that I want to make sure everyone understands, and I will continue to reiterate over and over again, just because we're quiet in our approach, that doesn't mean that we're not strategic. That doesn't mean that we're not being loud in the moments when we have it, but we are being much more, of course, we're building the systems to allow us to have the proper routines as well as the right structure for us to be able to walk through what can be a difficult time from a mindset perspective, but also open you up for great success and learning that, when everyone else really slows down for the holidays, that should be our opportunity to see and our cue to start warming up. And that is so important, not just mentally, but also then physically what you do. We talked a little bit before about last couple of weeks about how physical activity is great. It's good for your mind. It's great. This is the same routine. We need to take action. We have to make sure we're doing all things with the right approach so that we're mentally moving forward. Right. I want to make sure that everybody understands that our key strategy has always been the concept of reflection, discovery, and execution. And you're going to hear a little bit more of that. We're going to expand. We're going to go a little bit deeper today. But the most important thing is our belief and system that sits inside of JS Careers. And this belief and system has been tested, tried and true. You can look at this as an executive in your own right, and executive leadership in your own world, from personal and work. You'll see that if you have the right mindset, you combine that with the right systems, and then you put the right execution moments in, you'll have success. And that is extremely important, right? One of the things that is a huge myth that we debunked over the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to mention it again up front here, is that there is some kind of a seasonality piece here, that all hiring dies in the winter. That is absolutely false. We do see a quote unquote slowdown of hiring. Yes, we see a slowdown of hiring. But what we do not see, and we had the statistics last week, we do not see recruiters shut down. We do not see the data collection slow down. We do not see the searching slow down. In fact, the connections go way up. It's a much better opportunity for recruiters to lean into possible new candidates for January and February. And in some cases, of course, pull one through for a late season hiring. And so the worst thing that you could do is slow down. Most people do. They go into holiday mode and they don't take advantage of the opportunities in front of them, which is when you're in a very noisy market. Now, when everything else goes silent, you, of course, can take up and be the one to make the noise, right? So how do we do that? How are you acting quiet to be able to make that noise? And this is really the idea that I want you to have. You have to have a holiday networking strategy, right? So the mindset here that's important for us all to remember is that you have to have the concept of gratitude. And we're going to go much deeper into gratitude next week. But the idea should be in all of your outreach, you should be leaning into gratitude of the connection. And hear me when I say this. When you understand the concept of, again, 87% of recruiters work all the way up till the last day of the holiday season, that's because they're leaning in to the opportunity to connect. There's not nearly as many meetings. There's not nearly as many activities inside of work, so they can finally do the things that they're best at. And when we've been in this very heavy, busy season, this noisy hiring market that we've seen, this is the first opportunity that your outreach to some of these recruiters can really have impact. And that means you need to have a mentality of understanding that all the work that I've been doing, whether you've been out of work for a couple of months or maybe you've been out for longer, all of that work needs to be revisited. And the mindset is this is a refresher opportunity to reconnect with all these great connections, but even the folks that maybe you've lost sight of. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. The consistency is what matters. And so we want to build the right type of overall framework. And that is extremely important. Now, you guys know I love things in threes, and I've been breaking my own rule lately, but this one's an easier one, I promise. It's in fours. They're all in R's. Everything's going to be simple to remember. So I know that I don't want Michael to get mad at me for breaking my own rules. He gets upset when I do that. But I promise you, there's a rational reason for all of this. Okay. And so when I've really pulled this framework out, this is, and I think Wendy, you're going to really love this one. But this is an old executive sales premise. So whenever you start a brand new territory, or you are given a new account, the first step is you should always go and you should write down, right, your 10 to 20 ways of contacts. And that is exactly what we're going to do as a job seeker. We're going to spend our first R, which is reflect. And that reflect is in what are these 10 to 20 contacts. And in your case as a job seeker, it's who's impacted you. Who's someone throughout this year that maybe they moved you in some way. Maybe they found a new job. Maybe they changed roles. Maybe they moved into an industry for our pivoters, right? These are individuals that you've had contact with, you have a relationship with, even if it's somewhat extended, and maybe if it hasn't even happened, but you're going to reach out to this person. This could be someone that inspires you. I absolutely love what Courtney was saying before we got started today, right? Those two powerful women, they've inspired Courtney. Courtney, you should reach out to them. You should get a coffee with them. You should have a connection with them, because you never know where those relationships are going to go. And so you're going to write down these 10 or 20 overall contacts that have really inspired you, right? And then I want you to take a moment and I want you to actually physically write down why this person is the right contact for you. And this is extremely important. We want to use all three senses, right? We want to use obviously our sight. We want to use obviously our hearing. We want tactile feel. We want to touch. You want to put it all down on paper, right? And this also goes for individuals who are just unsure. Maybe you're not confident yet. We'll write it down, take a night, come back and look at it again in the morning. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But you got to take that action. You got to write that down. Okay. So once you've journaled that out, now it's the concept of how does the reconnect look, right? So maybe these individuals are someone that you have spoken with in the past. Well, what's that reconnection look like? Maybe you've reached out and they haven't responded. Well, what can that reconnect look like? This is where if you notice that they've gotten a new job, they've pivoted, maybe they've just got the holidays coming up. Don't just limit yourself to LinkedIn. I've been taught so much about the massive activity on side of social media. And I've had many of our previous members, I think Amber's the first one that comes to mind on this, but they utilized her other social medias to make these connections back to these powerful leaders that maybe she worked with, she's had a relationship with, and now she's reconnecting through a different social way, right? The key to this is to understand, again, I said the word gratitude. We're not reaching back out to these individuals to get a job. I cannot express that enough. This is not for a referral at this moment. You're not reaching out to tell them a sob story. You're reaching back out to tell them how you're grateful for their presence in some way, how they impacted you, how they did something for you. That's the way you make genuine connection. That's extremely important when you start to write this out in this principle. The next thing is you want to re-engage, right? And so, or sorry, not re-engage, sorry, relate. Sorry, skip the step. You want to relate, right? And the idea here is when you think about relating to someone and building a relationship and going down that path with them, you want to meet them where they are, right? You want to be visible. You want to become familiar, and you want to build trust. And the only way to do that is to be in the spaces that they're in. Think about who these people are. Again, you journaled about their connection. Are these individuals who like phone calls? Then pick up the phone and call them. Are these individuals who like to communicate through text? Are these individuals who like email? Or is this a situation where maybe it is all social? Like, can you go contact them through their posts? Can you comment? Can you like? Think about some of these individuals who maybe you're not as close to, but they've been impacted. Maybe they were an influencer that you follow that has meant something to you along the way. Well, maybe go comment on their post. Maybe you need to get 15 minutes with that person. Right? There's all kinds of ways to take your 10 to 20 contacts and start to lean into where they are. And that's an extremely important step to, again, create visibility, familiarity, and then trust. It's about that relationship being built through this concept of that gratitude statement that you're going to write for them. And then the last step is to re-engage. And this is important. Once you've started the conversation going through whatever medium that is the best fit, At this point, this is when you actually move the conversation. So if you're a part of our training and you've been a part of the networking class, you guys understand that from warm, cold, and blind apply, there's an important moment where you take a conversation and you can break any 15-minute conversation and turn it into a 30 or longer. And the way you do that is through the first genuine curiosity. Again, going back to that, you've built that relationship back up. You've re-engaged in this positive way, and now you're moving that relationship into the space where you can then thank them for the conversation, thank them for what they did for you in the past, and then you can move and shift from the very selfless act of thanking them to a more selfish request of more connections. And this is the part where the light bulb should go off for all of us. It's at this time of the year, it's not about them immediately handing you a job. If it's there and they respect you and they see value in you, they're going to offer it to you. You don't have to ask for the job. They're going to do that for you. But this is the best time of the year to be truly grateful and truly curious about who this other person is, to open up the door for more conversations going forward. Whether it's with their additional contacts and friends, maybe recruiters, other people, that's fine. But the idea is not to get a job. It's to build a genuine relationship and allow that to grow in the conversation. Now, it wouldn't be appropriate if we didn't actually have a challenge built out of this. And because I love execution, right? We can't just reflect and discover and then not execute. So over the next 7 days, right? And then going in, of course, into the following week, we are going to build upon this, right? So I will create and have it built today for us all to jump in. But since you guys are on the call, you guys all get to get started first. And I have already kind of told you what your first step is going to be, which is going to be, you're going to write down those 10 to 20 contacts, right? And then you're going to journal why they're so important. That first step will unlock what we're going to do tomorrow, which is we're going to go and start sending some messages to all those folks, right? So there's your first 2 steps. That's the reason why we want to journal. Now, I want you to sleep on this tonight because we're working on a best practice, right? This is not just an exercise for being grateful over the holidays. We're playing chess, not checkers. We're building a framework for you so you can continue this going forward. It's not just the month of November. We're going to move into December, and we're going to have additional time to be able to reach out, right? And we're going to work on a good quality strategy, a daily framework. For those of you who are part of the program, you know what the 9 to 3 looks like, but we have the holidays coming up. It's going to get busier. We're going to have moments where things are going to be chaotic. We're going to have family in and out, right? I hope everybody has some kind of chaos that happens this holiday season because it's good. It's healthy to be surrounded by family and friends, right? Hopefully there's a bunch of holiday parties that are happening. Well, you have to build in the schedule to make sure that works for you. The best way to adjust to a busy schedule is to create a quality framework for yourself right now. Then you move and adjust inside of that framework. So I'll make sure that I have something posted for everybody in Discord today, right? So you have a general idea of what that'll look like. I'll drop the 9 to 3 in for anyone who's not a part of the program, right? So you can see that framework for yourself, right? But the idea here is an engagement principle for yourself. So it will be important whether or not you need an hour today to write these names down. Great, take an hour. Some of you might be able to do it in 30 minutes. Great, do it in 30 minutes. The journal work will be extremely important too. And then when you reset tomorrow morning and you wake up and you start to look at your list again before you start your messaging, that's the moment when you can be really confident that this is the best 10 to 20 names that you could possibly come up with. That confidence is key. It's the mindset of knowing that you put in the work, you found the right people, and you're going to go say thank you, and you're going to build that relationship back up because those individuals are people who meant something to you, right? And we'll follow the 7-day challenge, and there'll be something new to do every single day. Some of it will be related to the social posts. Some of it will be deeper into your contacts and your relationship building. But the number one piece of everything that I've said today, and I'm going to come back to this, is you have to practice the right mindset. You have to have the ability to set yourself up for success. And so I'm going to have us all just take a moment, right? And I want you guys just to think through who's one person? And maybe you already thought of this person, but who is it? I want you to visualize who that person is. Who's that one relationship that maybe you lost? along the way. Maybe it's a connection because you did get laid off, or there was a termination that happened. And maybe it was a leader that really impacted you, or a colleague, or someone that maybe was in another department than you. The relationship just kind of went cold. It just disappeared on you. Do you see that person? Do you see it? And then I want you to think about if you could reignite that relationship, if you could, what would you learn from that person? What would you want to learn from that person? Now think about what that would be. And then the last step is, when could you reach out to them today? And what would that outreach look like? And I want what I just walked you through in the last minute, maybe minute and a half, was reflection, discovery, and execution for any problem that you'll ever have. It doesn't matter if you're feeling stuck, if you just had trouble getting out of bed this morning, if you just feel like the weight of the holidays are all over you and you just can't push forward anymore. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you're tired. Maybe this is your year anniversary, and you're staring at another holiday season going, man, I thought I was out of this. I want to remind you of this. This was one of the best quotes that I've ever, and I'm going to pull it up and read it to you. And it's this: the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And the second best time is right now. And so when you're thinking about, oh, I'll network tomorrow, or I'll reach out to them after the holidays, you're just delaying planting your tree. And if you don't take action and you don't flip your mindset of the possibility of what you could do today to help yourself, not just find the next job, but find a real career in the right location, it's going to come through people. Regardless of what the economy does, regardless of what the current market is, you got to plant your tree today if you really want to reap the benefits of it 20 years from now. And so as I wrap us up, I really want you guys to understand the importance of this. We find our community, and I'm so happy that the group that was talking before we all got started, and thank you so much, Courtney, for reaching out to some folks that that are new to the community and saying, like, come talk to me. I'm going through this. I'm pivoting. It was great to have Tabitha kind of be here to have that new connection for you guys, and that's what this community is all about. And when I think about all the messages that came up over this past weekend, and some heavy ones, and then some really exciting, good quality things that are happening inside of our community, the victories that we do see of people finding jobs, or even overcoming some personal struggles, and planting their tree today, it reminds me that there's nothing that any of us can do if we don't lean into each other, if we don't adjust our current systems and frameworks, and then ultimately, if we don't continue to communicate, then we'll struggle. And that's just the opposite of what this network and this community is. And I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to talk to all of you. And obviously, if you're struggling with anything like this, whether we're on the call, we're going to do questions, of course, in a minute. But if you're just catching this on the recording off YouTube, don't hesitate to reach out. The whole community is available to you. I mean, gosh, there's almost 300 of us in there at this point. But obviously myself and Tina are here, and Michael's doing a great job in the daily mindset to bring up some incredible thoughts to push us forward. But just don't hesitate to lean in to a group of people who are walking with you, who are in this with you and trying to push it. So I appreciate everybody, and I look forward to catching everybody, of course, next week for Mindset Monday. And obviously the links are available for you to come join our community. And I'd love to see us push past that 300 mark and see how many individuals we can continue to move with. Because the more people we have together, the easier it is for us all to be able to help each other find the right next job. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks.
Thanks.